you can never be, like, cured of your eating disorders, but I think I have my eating disorder under control for once in my life.
Okay.
So that's good.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I say that when I've never talked about that kind of stuff before? But
it's all good.
Hi, welcome to me.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to the Music Lens Podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
And Katie Fee.
I didn't even mean for that to be...
Welcome to me.
The start of the podcast. It was just like a...
Yeah.
Hi, here's my deep dark secrets.
This is what's happening now. Yeah. I don't even know what to do for chit chat with this because we just recorded an episode before this, so it's like...
I know. And
it's harder the second episode to think of things to say.
Well, no, to be honest, I always feel like our second episode, you can tell because we're so already like in the thick of talking to each other that
that's true.
We get used to it. And especially because we had such a big break that the first chit chat part of the first episodes that we record in a day are always like, how do we talk to each other again? Hi, welcome. And then all the chaoticness comes out, and then by the end we're like, hey everybody, welcome to the next episode! Like,
whoa. The dramatic peak of the sound wave for that.
I cracked my neck when I did that too.
Oh, joy. Okay. So this is out the 15th.
Yes, it is.
If you listen to this the day of, go to Live Oak tonight because I'm playing a writer's room.
Hopefully we get it up. This year, my goal of the podcast is to actually have a consistent Wednesday posting schedule.
Yes.
So you've heard it here first. These episodes come out Wednesday mornings.
Occasionally Thursdays, but we're going to try and prevent that
or
from being
Wednesday afternoon because sometimes I take it. The lighting's getting like weird, dim, like
because the sun is starting to set.
Go down. Light to starting to become more apparent. We've had a candle burning this whole time. It's called Artsy,
featuring an expensive blend of tobacco and amber to inspire creativity.
So Target had this line of like candles. I don't know if it was actually Target, but they were in Target stores. Mm-hmm. And it was like artsy, introvert, all this.
She got me the introvert one for my birthday.
I bought both of them because I liked them. And then I was like, Katie will like this. So then I put it in her bag.
There we go.
That's the secret behind it.
That's the secret.
Because you always bring it up. And I'm like, I secretly bought both of them. But then I was like, Katie would like this.
You didn't know what to get me. And you're like,
no, I
like
had
this.
stuff. But then I was like... Also, what was I going to say? Oh, by this time, hopefully I'll have started my musical again. I think I might do at least just this one at the beginning of the year.
And Susical, the musical.
I am a Susical. Oh, I have hiccups. I am a Susical. Mm-hmm. I am, like, understudying every single role. So I have to learn the whole thing, but then never use it.
Oh.
I don't know, actually.
And dance captain, too,
like.
Right?
What?
Dance captain?
I am the dance captain again.
So there you go.
So I have to get back into dance training again because I've realized that if I don't keep up with it, I lose it again. So
that's me with guitar.
Yeah.
My fingers are going to hurt. So I have a cover gig tonight. So by the end of the 3 hours, my fingers will be hurting. Because I just haven't played every day like I should. So
yeah. Oh, and I mentioned that like last week I wanted to like get better at guitar and like I've been practicing things because I realized that I don't like I play guitar pretty consistently, but you know I just play chords and like stuff for covers and stuff, and like that's a very different kind of practicing than like actually sitting down and playing riffs and doing all that kind of stuff. And I realized how I had to go back to square one of like bends 101, like how to do one bend just to like get it back into myself. Like this is what because I don't go to weekly lessons where like they teach you things. Like I was like, oh, I learned all I needed to know for songwriting purposes, but nothing past that.
Yeah.
So I really had to go back to square one, which was disappointing a little bit, but also I just kind of had open eyes and was like, there's nothing wrong in like relearning it.
Yeah. That's kind of how I'm approaching violin, because I grew up playing viola and now I have a violin, and I was like, we're just gonna Ant's tail is in the camera. It's fine. Hi, buddy. We're just gonna go back to the basics of these instruments because violin and fiddle are similar enough that I could just like transfer information, but also I haven't even played viola that much in a long time, whereas I used to play it like on the daily at school. So going back to the basics of scales and all that stuff. Hi, sir. Oh, he burped.
Are you on the podcast again?
Yes. Let's not sniff the microphone, please.
He's gotten so big, like he really can't fit on the couch with us anymore, and he's gonna be down.
Buddy,
Oh, boy.
good job. If you're audio only, go to YouTube so you can see Ant.
He can't see him.
But you can see
you can see
when
a
he
little
came
bit when
in
he
and
came in,
his tail was just brushing the camera.
We thought we'd take it back to some things that we kind of started, things that we for a series purposes.
Yeah.
And so this week's episode is New York, music behind the scenes of the lifestyle of New York. How many adjectives can I throw in? Apparently, history of New York.
Yes,
New
we've
York
done Nashville.
Music.
We've done LA. This is our third one.
Yes.
So the 3 major cities will be taken care of after today, and we can look into some of the like smaller-ish ones or international ones eventually.
Plenty.
So.
I have a list. I have like Seattle and Detroit and Chicago and Germany and London and.
Did Germany have a city?
I'll have to look at which one's their main capital. I just know that like we always get those German producers that came to Belmont.
Yeah.
And I just don't know where they came from.
Okay. So I'm like, you're naming all cities, and then you're like, Germany.
No, Germany is just Germany.
Okay.
No, I'll look into it more.
What specific city within Germany is the music-based one, I guess? Yeah, we can do a lot of other ones. This is just, we are covering the first 3 we're covering the first 3. We are covering the 3 major ones first, is what I meant to say. Yes.
Because even internationally.
Major U.S. ones.
Well, yes, but even internationally, like, it's always, I think in documentaries, it was always like, you gotta make it in America, you have to make it in one of these 3 major cities. So even internationally, it's a big deal to... So, break it down again. My New York one is probably the least knowledge-based one. It's a little fun. We have a game at the end of this, so hang on to your hats, people. Obviously, Broadway is in New York, but I didn't really go with that. I really stuck with like the main popular
like music business, recorded music business.
So it was the starter of bebop, hip-hop, garage house, New York punk rock, and salsa.
Okay.
Famous artists include Lady Gaga, Billy Joel, The Struts, Jay-Z, The Beastie Boys, Kiss, and so many more. There's a lot of... I originally had a list of, like, songs that, like, geographically where each song came from, so, like, down to the street name. And it was a lot of, like, Jay-Z and, like, Beastie Boys and stuff that I didn't think that you would guess.
Yeah.
But also, I didn't even realize that one of the Billy Joel songs that I've known for, like, my whole life listed a place. I always heard the lyric wrong, apparently. Okay. That's what I learned.
So like Cornelia Street for Taylor kind of thing of like streets that are referenced, New York streets that are referenced in songs.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so that was a fun little fact that had nothing to do with anything. Anyway, so timeline of history of New York. I am on a Moment Museum of Music and Entertainment in New York City article. So in 1880, all of these apparently I've learned started at an opera house because I think Nashville was also with the Ryman and everything. And the
Ryman's a church originally,
and it started with church and then operatic music.
Okay,
and like symphonies and stuff like that. But the Metropolitan Opera Company was founded in 1880 to create an alternative to New York's old established Academy of Music Opera House. So that was where all the old money, the social circles were wealthy, industrialist. So that was kind of the big starting point. The first Met subscribers included members of the Morgan, Roosevelt, and Vanderbilt families. Then the birth of vaudeville, which vaudeville is a very, very inappropriate thing, but it did start in the 1880s. Tony Pastor, a circus ringmaster turned theater manager, capitalized on middle-class sensibilities and spending power when he began to feature polite variety programs in several of his New York City theaters. The usual date given for the birth of vaudeville is October 24th, 1881 at New York's 14th Street Theater. when Pastor famously staged the first bill of self-proclaimed clean vaudeville in New York City. Hoping to draw a potential audience from female and family-based shopping traffic uptown, Pastor bared the sale of liquor in his theaters, eliminated body material from his shows, and offered gifts of coal and ham to attendees.
Coal and ham?
I guess so.
What?
Pastor's experiment proved successful, and other managers soon followed in suit. The continued growth of the lower-priced cinema in the early 1910s dealt the heaviest blow to vaudeville. This was similar to the advent of free broadcast televisions, diminishing the culture and economic strength of the cinema. So then a lot of like halls became cinemas, obviously. Other performers who entertained in vaudevilles last year included Jack Benny, Abbott and Costello, Kate Smith, Cary Grant, Bob Hope, Milton Berle, Judy Garland, Rosie Marie, Sammy Davis Jr., and the Three Stooges used vaudeville only as launching pads for later careers. They left live performance before achieving the national celebrity of early vaudeville stars and found fame in new venues. I knew that Judy Garland had gotten her start there, and there's some controversial performances of hers.
I don't really know much. I know, like, of vaudeville, but not much details of, like, people who've done it and stuff.
1891, Carnegie Hall opens, which was one of the most prestigious venues in the world, officially opening on May 5th, with a concert conducted by Maestro Walter Damrosch and great Russian composer Chaikovsky. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to say the rest of his name because I only know his last name is Chaikovsky. So.
Okay.
Tchaikovsky.
I'm just going to not say it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's fair.
I know Katie and I have both performed at Carnegie Hall.
No.
Oh, you haven't?
I've performed at the Kennedy Center.
Oh.
I haven't been to New York.
Multiple times at Carnegie Hall.
I haven't been to New York.
Through multiple ensembles. I was in both at school and outside because I did a lot of classical singing growing up. So I've been a couple times.
It was a choir thing for Kennedy Center as well. But I haven't been to New York. So no.
You've never been to New York City?
I've never been to New York. I know.
I have been so many times.
I just think of the I don't remember who it is that says it, but isn't there like some famous clip of someone being like, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? You practice, practice, practice. Or something like that.
Okay. So that explains why our t-shirts, so my choir director made t-shirts back in the day that said, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? You practice, practice, practice. How do you get to Carnegie Hall twice in 1 year? You join the high school choir.
Oh.
Because we were the top choir of the school.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. I think it was like my A-push teacher. It wasn't even like a music teacher that like was randomly saying that, but
apparently that explains the meme.
But it was more talking about practicing, I don't know, U.S. history terms for a test or something, I guess, if that's why he was saying it. I don't know, but I don't even think it was a music teacher. He was quoting that. But yeah, that's all I think of with Carnegie Hall because I have not been.
I did not know. I thought you'd gone.
I haven't been to New York. I almost did when I went home for spring break with you, and then we didn't because it was going to be expensive, I think was the thought process or something.
No, I was going to get us tickets to a Broadway show.
Yeah, but I think it was going to be too expensive to, like, travel in and out of the city.
Oh, yeah. And I couldn't find a good bus. My mom and I used to do, like, the bus into the city, and then you spend X time at, like, Times Square Center, and then you go to the show, and then you had, like, a little bit of time afterwards for, like, a little bit of shopping, and then the bus picked you up at the same spot they, like, dropped you off at, and then they bused you back to, like the meeting location in some parking lot, and then you drove yourself home.
Yeah.
So we've done that a couple times to see like the Rockettes, and I forget what show we went to go see, but definitely for the Rockettes one.
Okay. Yeah.
The other Broadway shows I've gone with schools and stuff. So
yeah, but that was the closest I've been. Was going to Pennsylvania was probably the closest to New York I've been. So,
I did not know that.
Anyways,
then
tangent.
Yeah, that was a really big tangent. In 1893, Irving Berlin, a 5-year-old Irving Berlin immigrates to New York with his family in 1893. Holy moly, I can't read. He was an American composer and lyricist of Russian-Jewish origin, widely considered one of the greatest songwriters in American history. His music forms a great part of the Great American Songbook. He published his first song, Marie, from sunny Italy in 1907 and made his first international hit, Alexander's Ragtime Band, in 1911. He was also an owner of the Music Box Theater on Broadway. The family eventually settled on Cherry Street, a cold water basement flat with no windows, in the Yiddish Theater District on the Lower East Side. He joined with a few other youngsters and went to saloons on the Bowery to sing to customers. In 1898, welcome to Brooklyn. Brooklyn joins New York City in 1894. Actually, that's not important. I don't know why it's in there. Because George Gershwin was born in Brooklyn.
Oh, that's important.
Yeah. Gershwin was an American composer and pianist. Gershwin's compositions spanned both popular and classical genres, and his most popular melodies are widely known. Among his best works are the orchestral compositions Rhapsody in Blue in 1924 and American in Paris in 1928, as well as the opera Porgy and Bess in 1935. Gershwin studied piano under Charles Hambitzer in composition with Reuben Goldmark and Henry Cowell. He began his career as a song plugger, but soon started composing Broadway theater works with his brother Ira Gershwin and Buddy De Silva. Sorry. He moved to Paris to study with Nadia Bollinger, where he began to compose An American in Paris. After returning to New York, he wrote Porgy and Bess. Oh my god, did I say it's Porgy and Bess? I said bees earlier.
I didn't notice.
Initially a commercial failure, Porgy and Bess is now considered one of the most important American operas of the 20th century. In 1917, Buddy Rich was an American jazz drummer and band leader. Rich was billed as the world's greatest drummer and was known for his virtuoso techniques, power, groove, and speed. Rich was born in Manhattan to Jewish vaudevillians Bess and Robert Rich. His talent for rhythm was first noted by his father. So, part of the reason is vaudeville obviously got a lot of people start in the early 1900s. And really is where a lot of, like, the jazz and, like, classics that you think and very over-the-top performances that led into Broadway styles and all of that. So, like, it did, like, and then it created its way into cinema and stuff like that. So, with Charlie Chaplin and those kinds of things. So, it is unfortunately important in the grand schemes of things. Yeah. And then in 1918 was the Harlem Renaissance. The Harlem Renaissance is generally considered from about 1918 to the mid-1930s. By 1916, New York City has become home to the largest urban African-American diaspora in North America. The Harlem Renaissance gave birth to major developments in jazz, beginning with stride piano, also known as the Harlem Stride, through the great swing era of Fletcher Henderson, Chick Webb, and Duke Ellington. This image is a great map. Oh. You're not going to be able to see the image, so never mind. But yes, so jazz was also a very big thing. So stride piano, New York's own jazz sound. Stride piano, also known as the Harlem Stride, or just stride, emerges. The style is considered the first identifiably New York form of jazz. James P. Johnson, known as the father of stride, created this style of jazz piano along with fellow pianists Willie the Lion Smith, Thomas Fats Waller, and Lucky Roberts. One of Johnson's greatest contributions was to recast the straight feeling of ragtime with a more modern swinging beat, sophisticated harmonics, and dynamics. He discovered and employed the 10th or broken 10th interval, among other devices. The pianist could not only substitute tenths for single bass notes, but he could also play broken, staggered tenths up and down the keyboard. The left hand characteristically plays a 4-beat pulse with a single bass note, octave, 7th, or 10th interval on the first and third beats, and a chord on the second and fourth beats.
That's a lot.
Occasionally, this pattern is reversed by replacing the chord on the downbeat and bass notes on the upbeat.
A lot of detailed information.
Yeah, so if you're a piano player, that probably made sense to you. If not, just go look up like ragtime styles and that kind of stuff, and the Harlem, what's it called? Sorry. and the stride piano sound, and then you'll be able to hear it a little bit. It's also the place where folk was transformed into pop. So, starting with all of that stuff, then you get outbreaks of things, as you could see, like, with the Harlem Renaissance, and you started getting, like, ragtime became more swing and jazz, and then you had different dance styles come out of it, like, tap evolved from, like, or not tap, sorry. Tap does have a big part in it as well, because when I took tap, like, classes at Belmont, we talked a lot about this kind of stuff. Like, certain
the history of it
came from, like, and it was really centered around the 1920s is, like, the developmental part of jazz, and, like, why, like, certain things are the way that they are, like, the Charleston you can do, like, and certain things like that. And so, like, out of these, like, different dance styles became, like, a more upbeat kind of sound, and then you'd get, like, the more swingy kind of sounds to, like, match the different dance styles, and then, like, the big band eras came out of New York and all of that, and it was really, like, where we talk about how, like, different genres emerged from different, like, cultures, and, like, African Americans created, like, their own sound, which eventually led to R&B, and, like, white Americans, like, eventually became folk because of, like, them taking influence from each other. So it was, like, not a competition per se, but, like, a lot of influence, like, stemmed from other things.
Right.
And, like, the problem obviously became, like, no one was giving credit to original people, and they were taking it and just using it for their own success, which in theory is what everyone kind of does, though, in the music industry. It's a long history of people stealing other people's ideas. I mean, it's also considered, like, nothing is really original when you're writing. So it's already been done in some sort, and then you just, like, are recreating it. But this is a lot of, like, where these roots kind of came from around this time in New York. So now let's look at some notable landmarks. Studio 54 is on 254 West 54th Street. It's a legendary dance club where disco, cocaine, and the rich and famous, and some lucky locals wasted the night and mornings away.
Pause. Did you see the video of Kristen Chenoweth on New Year's Eve?
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
She's like, in the new year, I'm going to give up Coke. And then she's like, Coca-Cola! Like, she did not realize how it sounded.
I know.
I was like, I'm sure she means Coca-Cola. And then she freaked out and was like, I need to correct people. Like, I took it that way because I'm like, I don't see her being that person. But
I was like, wait.
Yeah.
Okay. The Brill Building is on it's on 1619 Broadway at 49th Street. This location, where the great pop music of the 1960s was written by the masters of songwriting, Carole King and Jerry Goffin, Neil Diamond, Sonny Bono, and Paul Simon, just to name a few. The music coming out of this building was often called the Brill Building sound. With this, I can attest to some things because A, I know it, but B, I was in the Carole King musical. So basically they used to have... Yes. Basically, the Brill Building and stuff like that was big in the 1950s and 60s. It was basically like a factory for songs, and you would go in, and that was... You used to pitch songs to people in person back in the day, because that's not a thing anymore for legal copyright reasons. They can't really accept unsolicited music anymore. Yeah. But back in the day, you could just walk up into a building and then say, hey, I'd like to get a song published or recorded by X, Y, and Z, and people would sit and listen, or they'd give you your day job of going to this office, and you'd sit and you'd write music all day, which is similar to today's songwriters, but also it was much more sustainable. And number ones meant a lot more back in the day. And this was how people made money as songwriters, and you just get signed, or you wouldn't get signed, but you'd be under contract for a specific building. So the Brill Building was one of those.
Tin Pan Alley or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know if I have that on here or not.
I think it was like probably in some history thing with like Tin Pan South Festival was talking about how that's like based off of Tin Pan Alley in New York, and how that was where songwriters were writing and stuff. So so it's an which, if you don't know, Tin Pan South
is a Nashville festival for songwriters to come out, and they sing songs all across the city.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of different venues all having writers' rounds and shows and stuff for like a week or something like that. There's a bunch of different ones, and it's like hit writers are playing these shows.
Because you also, like, it's very much a new thing now, especially because everyone wants a little piece of it. And it you know, I think as much as people like to argue it, but like Taylor Swift really did break that mold of like writing your own stuff. And that's very much a new thing of like every artist being on their own songs, like whether or not they actually did the work or not is a different story. But being on that song is like a big deal because people are making so much less per song of like getting those big hits or like being on a record or getting any type of cut. So everybody wants to have a little bit more because you get more of a cut if the song does get cut in general.
Yeah.
So back in the 60s and 50s, and it was all these factories of songs, you had songwriters and you had artists, and the artists were there to sing the songs that the songwriters wrote.
Yeah.
And that was why like people like Carole King, like they weren't expected to also be the face of the songs that they were singing.
Right.
And now it's a very different kind of time. I mean, you had people like Joni Mitchell's was the 70s, but still, like,
and Carole King eventually,
and people like that who actually did write their own songs and sing them, and Carole King, yeah, of course too. But that was very much the folksy, very introspective songwriting approach to things. And in the 50s and 60s, it was very much the group's looks and dynamics, and you had people that were like, this is what your sound is going to be. And again, it was very much that factory setting of like, the labels were very in control, and we have a little bit more freedom now, I think, with especially the independent life. The Chelsea Hotel is 222 West 23rd Street, home and hangout of many artists, writers, actors, and musicians.
And ghosts. Go back to our ghost episode.
Yes. Lou Reed wrote Walk on the Wild Side while staying here on the darker side as opposed to the wild side. Sid Vicious supposedly murdered his girlfriend Nancy.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
we talked about that part.
Yeah. But he overdosed before he had his day in court.
Yeah. So they both died.
So there's ghosties.
So there's ghosties because of it, and and Torture Poets Department.
Yeah, I know.
Song has it in the chorus.
Some of these places I'm not going to bring up because it's like Madonna's first apartment in New York and Joni Mitchell's apartment, and if you really want to, you can look those up yourself. The Bottom Line on 15 West 4th Street, prime location for live music in the 1970s through the 2004. Acts included Bruce Springsteen, Linda Ronstadt, The Police, Neil Young, Prince, Hall & Oates, and Dolly Parton. The Bitter End, 147 Bleecker Street, opened in 1961, one of the longest continually operating music venues in the United States. It hosted hundreds of bands, including Billy Joel, Bo Diddley, Arlo Guthrie, Jackson Browne, Van Morrison. Now we have guessed the name of the song based on the New York lyrics.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
I got some. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Think of what it might have been if we took a bus to Chinatown. I'd be standing on Canal and Bowery. She'd be standing next to me.
Oh, hey?
Yes!
I was like, I can hear Sammy Casey.
By the Lumineers. Okay.
Because she does that one for cover days. It's like, I know these lyrics from her.
Okay. They wrote the fake lyrics on here.
The fake lyrics?
Yes, and I'll read you the real lyrics. Concrete jungle where dreams are made of.
They put the fake one.
Do you know the fake ones?
Isn't it like Wet Dream Tomato?
Yes, it is. Concrete jungle, wet dream tomato.
Yeah, it's Alicia Keys.
It is.
Is it just called New York?
It's called Empire.
Empire State Man. I knew that.
Okay, I'll do one. Let's see if you know this one.
Okay.
I walked through Bedford Style alone.
That was it?
Yeah.
Oh, probably not then. I don't even know what word you just said.
I walked through Bedford Style alone.
No, I don't know.
I think the next lyric is, and you told me not to drive, but I made it home alive.
No.
It is You May Be Right by Billy Joel.
Oh, okay. My brain wanted to just like hear that lyric instead of the lyric of the start of Boulevard of Broken Dreams. So I was singing it in my head like that's not it.
Why?
I don't know. You said I walk, and I was like I walk da 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 da.
No.
Isn't New York City mentioned in Delilah?
Okay, fine. Hey there, Delilah. What's it like in New York City?
There we go. Yeah.
I
forgot it was like in the first line of the song, but I'm like, isn't that like a location within the song?
Okay, I don't know if you'll get this one, but I'll do it because maybe viewers will. I see your teeth flash, Jamaican honey, so sweet, down where Lexington cross 42nd Street.
I don't know. It says Jamaican, and that makes me think like Bob Marley, but
No.
I don't know if it has
It is an
anything to
older
do
artist.
with if that has anything to do with where the artist is from. So
No.
I don't know.
It is Island Girl by Elton John.
Okay.
I can't do Cornelia Street because I know you'll get it in a heartbeat. I was trying
Never
to
walk Cornelia Street
Yeah,
again.
I was like,
Taylor Swift. There we go. Welcome to New York, Taylor Swift. Reddit stuff for the game, and I'm over here like, what Taylor songs reference
there's
New
a
York?
lot. That's why I was like,
She's so New York when she's in LA. When Emma falls in love.
oh.
So everyone thought that was a Easter egg for 1989 Taylor's version announcement. Because she just, that's so New York based, but they're like, she's gonna announce at LA because of that lyric. Like, she wrote that during Speak Now era though, but okay, sure, that's an Easter egg.
Okay, let me also say, there is a lot. It's just,
I don't
is
know
Katie
things.
going to know them? Would I even guess them? Probably not. So it's not fun if I just said a bunch of random ass shit.
Yeah. Here,
Here,
Street count?
This is what we're gonna do.
Because
I'll
I'll be honest. I thought Cornelia Street was in London until people started saying that they're going to it in New York, and I was like, oh, that's not in London.
No, Katie. Okay. Katie is going to tick off all of the ones on this playlist. Let's see if she can get them all. Ready?
Just name songs that mention New York.
Yes.
Okay.
This is
How many are there? Okay, so When Emma Falls in Love,
Yes.
Come Back, Be Here.
Yes.
I don't think there's anything else on Red. Welcome to New York.
Mm-hmm.
Is Cornelia Street on there?
Yes, it is.
Okay. False God.
Mm-hmm.
Is it in Clairvaux?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I was like, I know there's stuff about that. Portrait Poets Department?
No.
No, that's not counting. Even though it has a location. That's interesting. Just because, didn't we say that it doesn't outright say New York and Cornelia Street, yet that counts?
What does it say in Torture Poets?
Well, because Torture Poets Department has the Chelsea Hotel, so that's still a New York location, but it never mentions New York.
It's just not on here. That's a
Yeah,
good one.
okay.
Well, Katie got an extra
I
one.
got a bonus.
Katie got a bonus.
I got a bonus. Does Maroon have
Yes,
it?
it is.
Maroon? You're going to have to just cut out a bunch of the silence as I'm trying to think.
What's the line in Maroon that mentions it?
I don't remember.
Oh.
No, in New York, no
it's in
shoes. Yeah. I was like, it's in the chorus, but I had to get through the lyrics in my head. Is there more on 1989 that I haven't done?
No.
Okay.
I will say there is one more on Red.
There
You
is.
did not get it.
Okay, is it vault or is it regular?
It is regular.
Because All Too Well doesn't count because it's just talking about upstate. The Lucky One?
No.
How long are we gonna go for?
Keep going.
There's none on debut and Fearless, right?
No.
And it was just the one for Speak Now? Okay. That narrows down some. And we said 1989 was covered. Is there something on rap?
There is one on rap.
Endgame.
No.
It just starts naming every song on the album.
It has a music video for it, if that helps.
What else has a music video? Gorgeous?
No. Gorgeous is
not Gorgeous. Delicate.
Yes, Delicate.
Where?
Well, a dive bar on the east side.
That was 8. That's the only rep one?
Yes.
Okay. Did I get all of Lover?
No, you're missing one. I don't think this one is right. I think they accidentally added this one.
Miss Americana?
No. Because I don't see it when I look up the lyrics, actually.
Just say what it is then.
It's Daylight. But Daylight does not have New York in here at all. So.
Yeah, I don't think that
was an accident, I think.
Okay. Well, that's 9.
So we'll cut that one out.
Okay. Folklore and Evermore. Do they have...
Folklore has 2, Evermore has 1.
What the... Dorothea? No. Does Champagne problems because the train or whatever? No, okay.
That's just the night train. That's not the New York night train.
Okay, well, whatever one seemed to think it counted for other stuff.
There's a very obvious one on Evermore. It's
Coney Island?
Yes, Coney Island.
That counts. Okay, so then there's 2 on Folklore.
Yes.
Invisible String? No, that has Nashville. It does not have New York. Last Great American Dynasty is
okay. This one might not be right as well. Again, I don't know why they put it on here because I'm reading the lyrics.
Was it Last Great American Dynasty?
No.
Okay. I was like, that's like Maine or something, right?
Yeah, Vermont. Oh no, Rhode Island. Sorry.
Rhode Island.
Yes, and I can read you the lyrics.
Okay, that might be helpful. We're down to 1 on Red, 1 on Folklore, and then
that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know if I had any left for Midnights or Tortured.
No. The line in the...
You don't have to tell me which album.
Okay. You left... You know I left a part of me back in New York. You knew the hero died, so what's the movie for?
Shoot. I know it's Folklore. Hoax?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably wouldn't have gotten that one just because I do not listen to Hoax.
The end of the album is not as listened to as the rest of it. Yeah.
Actually, that's not true. I do like Hoax.
It's just if I listen in order, I don't always get to the end.
Okay. One last one, Katie.
Okay.
It's on
Red. And it is on the
line
OG.
It's on OG
Red. Holy Ground?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Back to a first glance feeling on New York time when you fit in my poems like a perfect rhyme.
Okay.
Yay!
Yay! How much of that is dead air that gets cut?
So much. Because actually, this was clearly... So, well, let me explain what happened. I had this New York episode, really planned out, and then we took this big, long break, and I kept
because we were going to do that episode, November or something like that, and then we're like, actually, we have more relevant to the time, I guess, of, New York history. You can do history anytime. Yeah. But we wanted, Christmas stuff and whatnot, so...
And then I forgot everything I was going to say about it, and we were making things up on the spot here. But you know what? That is all part of the fun.
Hey, that's show business.
There's a lot of New York history, obviously. I mean, Broadway is a whole different thing, but we tried to keep it with the independent artist scene.
And with the recorded music.
Big things are going to be things like jazz that came out of it, things like the Harlem Renaissance, things like Tin Pan Alley, which I guess we should have talked about more than we did. But with the Brill Building and stuff like that, those are your big songwriting moments. I mean, read things by Carole King, Jerry Goffin, I'm trying to think of the other big writers. Cynthia Weil, those are all just people from the musical, obviously, but Joni Mitchell. I mean, find people like that, you'll get a good scene of what the New York soundscape was during this time.
We'll see what happens. If there's any fun facts about New York music history you want to share, feel free to share them. Any suggestions for other other episodes in general, other music hubs that you want history on, comment them or email the Music Lens Podcast at gmail.com. And socials are at the Music Lens Podcast. If you want to keep up with us and our episodes, anything else we're doing. No, we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Alex is at Alex I Like Her Music if you want to keep up with her, and at Katie Fee Music for myself if you want to keep up with me. And so, yeah, that is it for this week, and we will see you next week. Bye!